Alrighty guys, better grab you something cold to drink, grab you a seat, and hang on to your hat, cause I got a hell of a tale to tell you. Well, hey everybody, how y'all doing today? Well, about 2 weeks ago, I got a rather strange PM over at my other channel over at D-Ray Shop. And what it was a lady that works for a film studio over in the UK called CB Films. And basically what they do is they do documentaries and things mostly for National Geographic. And apparently it turns out that they're getting ready to do an expedition to go do a documentary over in Siberia. And the purpose of the expedition is they are going to locate and remove an entire 10,000-year-old mammoth from the permafrost. And apparently they're getting ready to do this very quickly. I think the actual expedition was supposed to take place on like August the 8th. And it was going to last for a little over 3 weeks. So it'd be like in first week of September or something like that before we get back. And apparently they ran into a scheduling conflict with one of their on-camera personalities. They was going to have a paleontologist, and they was going to have a second character that was going to be in the documentary. It was supposed to be kind of like a mechanical expert. Because out there in Siberia, where they're going to be at, I mean, there's no power out there or anything, and it's very remote. Part of it, they're going to have to go up a river, so they wanted somebody that had mechanical experience working on outboards, generators, water pumps, compressors, pneumatic tools, ATVs, you know, basically everything, which is pretty much what I do. And they asked me if I'd be interested in going. I'm like, me? You know, I'm just no redneck from Arkansas. I don't know shit about Siberia. And so I thought, yeah, this is some kind of damn joke is what this is. But they had all their credentials there. I checked out their website. I actually called them up that morning, and I called them up on Skype. Talked to the lady there at the studio, and she was very nice. She says, so you got my email? I said, yeah, I said, it's quite interesting. She says, what do you think? I said, first of all, is this some kind of joke? And she just laughed, and she says, no, it's the real thing, it's the real thing, what do you think? I'm like, well, you gotta understand, you know, here I'm getting an email, just a random email from someone over in the UK to just this old redneck out in the middle of rural Arkansas, and you're wanting me just to drop everything I'm doing, jump up and hop on a plane and go to Siberia. And she says, yeah, pretty much. And I'm like, all right. I said, I'll play along with you for a little bit here. I'm interested. Let's talk a little bit. And sure enough, I mean, that was pretty much the whole thing in a nutshell. And she said, if you are interested, there's a few things we'll need to discuss, and you know, so forth and so on. And she actually sent me a link to a YouTube video, which was a documentary that they actually shot the previous year. And I'll drop a link to that documentary below so you can just see what the terrain is over there, because the exact same place they were at last year is the same place they're going to this year. And they actually took a team of scientists over there, and their purpose was trying to recover some actual unthawed remains that had remained frozen for over 10,000 years, and they're actually going to take them back to South Korea, and they're going to try to clone a mammoth, which was pretty interesting. So she said, she goes, watch the documentary, talk it over with your family, have a think on it overnight. If you're still interested, call me in the morning, and we'll work on it a little bit further. So I did. Called them the next morning, and during the meantime, she had a series of questions that she wanted me to ask, and you know, some of my mechanical background and first one thing and another. And I told them, yeah, I've been in the industry for over 27 years. She says, asked me if there was any other pertinent information that might be useful. I said, well, I was a volunteer fireman for over 9 years. I also was trained in rope rescue for a local search and rescue team. And I was trained as a state certified EMT and actually worked for a short period of time on a paramedic ambulance service. And of course, the next day when I called, give her all that information and everything, I immediately got a call back after I got off the phone with them on Skype. Immediately got a call back from the director. And the more he read, the more he learned, the more he wanted to know. I mean, he's like, man, he says, man, this is great. He said, I was actually the one that found your channel on YouTube and got to watching some of your videos, he said, man, he said, I like the way you handle yourself on the camera. He says, you explain things real well. He said, man, he said, it looks good. And then finding out that I had, firefighter experience, EMT experience, rope rescue experience, he said, man, that would be great to be able to put all that together and go over to Siberia and help us with this project. And so I said, okay, all right. So we've just pretty much the rest of the week, we kind of worked on kind of putting together like an audition video. And basically, I just sat right here at my computer. We'd be on Skype, talking to one another on the video, and he's just recording all of it, and he would ask me a series of questions, and we'd talk about things, and then they'd put it all together and whatever. And then, because ultimately, the decision was National Geographic's, because it was their project. And he told me after we got done with the audition, we was just kind of BSing and kind of getting to know one another a little bit better. And I asked him, I said, now, if you don't mind me asking, how many people are you sending over there for them to pick from? And he said, well, he says, right now, he says, it looks like that counting you, he said, we're probably going to send over only 3 or 4 candidates. He said, we only have about a week or so for them to pick somebody, and then we got to get all this stuff gathered up and get all the loose ends tied up so we can get these people all together over in Siberia. I said, 3 or 4? He said, yeah. As a matter of fact, he told me, he said, as a matter of fact, he said, I've worked with you more than I have any of the others. He said, because I really think that you would be the perfect fit to work with our paleontologists that we got picked out. And so I said, man, I was stoked. I was like, all right, cool. So by the following Monday, we'd gotten everything done, and they had turned everything in to Nat Geo. And he told me, he said, well, we're having a decision back from them probably by the end of the week. And so sure enough, this past Friday, come in here and I'm checking my emails, and there's an email from CB Films. So I'm like, oh shit. And Nat Geo didn't pick me. Turns out they actually decided they would rather have a second paleontologist and try to concentrate on the scientific end of it more than the difficulties and the mechanical problems and things that come along from doing an expedition, which is fine. So I was a little bummed out about that. Not every day you get asked to go to Siberia to dig up a 10,000-year-old mammoth, But I sent them an email back, and I told them, I said, hey man, I appreciate it. Appreciate y'all even considering me. Just the fact that out of everybody that they could have picked, how they found me to begin with is beyond me. But I was just so proud that I even got considered for it. I mean, to me, I consider that like a badge of honor, so to speak. It tells me maybe I'm doing something right. I don't know. But anyway, that's the little bit of excitement that I've had going on here for the last couple weeks. I just wanted to share it with you guys. But as always, appreciate y'all watching. Y'all have a good one. Catch y'all next time around.